I'm Morticia,
And I'm Satcha.
and we're
Sisters. It's super corny.
yeah, very corny. So we're gonna talk about mental health and suicide today, and yeah, because it's important. And this is Goth House LA and Green Sanctuary,
Yes, hello.
and then um
So, we're going to watch some mental health videos today.
and sorry, that is the wrong slide. Okay, so we're gonna look at Sam's story. So Sam survived conversion therapy and identity culture clash.
I came out, I was put through something called conversion therapy, which is this dangerous, discredited idea that you can change an LGBTQ person into a straight or cisgender person. And it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work, but it does a lot of damage. And so conversion therapy was compounded by the fact that I was a missionary kid. My church was not in alignment with my identities, and was actually the cause of a lot of the conversion therapy. A lot of people don't talk about conversion therapy because it's such a traumatic experience that we kind of silence. I am a gender fluid bisexual person, and those identities, by their very nature, aren't transferred by family in the same way that, for example, race or religion or a variety of experiences translate. We have parents to help us understand how to experience them. And that wasn't true for me. When I started to recognize this, that my culture, aka the series around me, and my identity, aka what I was feeling inside, weren't in alignment, then I started to go into myself and stop sharing about my mental health. Right? When things got really bad, I thought this must just be because I'm different, not because I've not been being given the level of support that I need. When culture and identity clash, the solitude is really, really tough. I need to remember that the harms that happened to me and my mental health early on are addressable. Growing up is an experience that changes every day. Every day I quote unquote grow up a little bit more. I did at one point finally recognize that this challenge was beyond me. I needed a person who understood the experiences that I was going through from my community, or at least understanding the specialized needs that my community as an LGBTQ person had. So I called the Trevor Lifeline. It's revolutionary. I know it may sound ridiculous, but it is revolutionary for the kid in Kansas to hear on the other end of the phone, you're not the only one. To hear that what I had gone through was wrong and that it didn't make me wrong for being damaged because of it. And it's not that we want to need the lifeguard, but knowing that they're there matters. And that's what the Trevor Project was for me. It became this moment of, oh, I may need help in the future. And knowing that help is there is going to be a life-saving action in and of itself. That was really important to me. And I'm not the only one. According to our Trevor Project research, 1.8 million LGBTQ young people will seriously consider suicide this year. That's a lot of kids in Kansas who think that's the only option that they have is suicide. Well, I got my nuclear engineering start at MIT. And it was there that I actually learned about this cool kids group, right, of active minds. I was a person who was feeling like I did not belong in this prestigious university. Definitely didn't think that I was going to make it through. And Active Minds was a place where we kind of got to talk about, okay, we're all struggling, but at least we're talking about it, right? And so it was creating spaces and conversations around campus that kind of connected to me that it wasn't only my technical world that needed to be taken care of. So it's interesting that while I was learning how to disarm a nuclear bomb, I was also learning from my Active Minds chapter how to disarm those really hard feelings for both myself and my fellow classmates. I've had many suicide attempts in my life. I'm so glad that I found resources that would give me the ability to get past those moments of suicidal ideation. I'm an opera singer, so I have a degree in music and vocal performance. I get to sing at the Kennedy Center. I love it. It's a dream. I have to recognize that music is a really good way for me to emotionally release things in ways that other people are also feeling, right? So the great part about music is that it's not actually time alone. Even if I'm the only one listening, that song was written because someone else was feeling that feeling. So when I'm singing it, or when I'm crying to it, or when I am thinking that is such a stupid song, right? All of those are feelings about someone else having that feeling too. I have a partner. Not everyone will. Not everyone needs one. I got married this year. And that was a really big moment in my life. As a survivor of conversion therapy, I was told I would never be with someone, that I would always be alone because I was not healthy. I was not good. I was not a Christian, right? Like these were all things that I were told I was going to be separated, but I'm not, right? I got to walk down the aisle to a man who really loves me as I am and who recognizes that my mental health isn't always great. So find a friend, find a partner, find a person in your life who will understand it's not always okay.
I want to cry.
Right, especially that last part he said. That hit me really hard.
Yeah, although we're sharing like other people's stories and doing this today, you know, me and my sister have some things.
The thing.
And then so if you guys are getting triggered, don't worry, we're triggered too. Let's be triggered together, but it's all for a good reason, right? Mental health is important, suicide prevention and awareness is very important. So I'm gonna share a Sean Kiefer story and I'm gonna mute myself.
With Sean, just a wonderful son, wonderful child, and an overachiever from the very beginning, and always even as a 10-year-old, he showed many signs through school of his own compassion and his caring for others, and he was always caring for others, and that started at a very young age.
Yeah, and I wish you were able to meet him because you would love him. He was the best. He was a vibrant mind and a very tender soul, and he was a very, very gentle person.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very empathetic. Loved having deep conversations with Sean because he was a really deep feeler and thinker, and we would just talk about, like, have these deep conversations. And sometimes it was like about the 8th dimension or the 10th dimension, and mostly it was things that I didn't know anything about, but he always made it fun.
I just used to love when I had the opportunity, which wasn't that often in high school because he was always busy, but when he and I got to drive around, I just loved to talk to him and ask him questions because his response was so thoughtful pretty much to everything that I just was I was waiting for his response and waiting on every word that he had to say because it was always so deliberate and thoughtful, and I just enjoyed conversations with him.
He was always interested in my writing and asking me, have you thought about this? Or like, what are you writing about now? Or
for me, what I loved most about Sean was that everyone always talked about how smart he was and how much of a genius in math he was, but also he was one of the most creative people I've ever known. I would say, like, growing up, Sean is like my idol, and I wanted to be like him. I wanted to work hard in school so I could take some of like the math classes he took in high school and like have the same teachers he had in high school, because he'd always talk about them. As like his younger sister, to me, like, he could do literally no wrong, and but not even I was idolizing him, it's that he was like the perfect older brother. One time we were like home alone and he was babysitting us, and he drove us to the library and took us to like the music like CD section and had us close our eyes, and we would like walk with our finger along the CDs, and then he would say like stop randomly, and whatever CD our finger was on we would get and like drive around in his car and listen to the music, and like he would ask us, oh, so what scene of a movie would this song be like playing in the background, and we'd come up with a movie scene. And it was just like small things like that that were so fun and like included Lindsay and I, and that's just like one of my favorite memories.
Then he moved to high school as a freshman, and really he seemed to be thriving. And he joined the cross country team. Everything looked really, really good. And then as a sophomore, same thing. And then, you know, he got away from the cross country, and he was such an exceptional student that he really focused on school. And the thing about Sean is he loved it. He absolutely loved math. He loved science. And we knew as parents that that was his passion. As far as anxiety and depression, we had literally no idea what that looked like. And with Sean, he was such a high-functioning person, such a calm person. You know, as he went on as a junior, you know, one thing he did is he stayed up a lot at night, and he studied late, and he was always such a hard worker. And we used to talk to him about, hey, Sean, you need some sleep here. You know, how about getting a B, Sean? Take it easy. And he seemed like he was in such, you know, control. And at that time, he was working at a software company as a junior in high school. And then as a senior in high school, he was not only going to school, but he was working after school. So he was doing what his passion was. He was a self-taught coder. Then he graduated from high school, and we had a nice summer. And then I ended up taking Sean out to school to George Washington University. And so he went off to school. Christine and I went out there for Parents Weekend in October and saw Sean, and he had met a girl, and he went in his first relationship at that time. And then he came home for Thanksgiving, and certainly at Thanksgiving he was distracted. And he was distracted really with the relationship with his girlfriend. And you know, he was a little withdrawn, but we had a nice Thanksgiving and a nice dinner. And then he went back to school for the next 3 weeks. And he came home at Christmas, and his mind was somewhere else, and it was in his relationship. He was spending a lot of time with that.
During Christmas, that was like the one time that I just felt like something was off, and in my head I kind of misinterpreted it, and I was like, oh, Sean's changed. I don't know, I just like didn't like as much who he was. And I didn't know if it was college or his girlfriend or something, but I didn't really have any context for that. And he was definitely, looking back, extremely depressed. And I remember he like wasn't eating, and he was super, super skinny.
Yeah, I remember the comments at the dinner table about him not eating. I was so clueless, I had no idea. And I made some smart remark like, oh, you know, you look like you're in good shape, you're thin, you know. And I couldn't have been further off than I was. But as a family, father, mother, and sisters, you can't be too hard on yourself if you realize that you had no idea what you were looking at. It's looking back on it, there were so many signs.
Yeah, I think being so ignorant on what the signs are of mental health, it's really easy to take it personally. I was like, oh, he's in college now, he is like moving on from his family, and that's why he's distant, or he's more irritable because he'd rather like be at college with his friends. And I think that's where like being educated on the signs of mental health are really important.
For me, when that happened, my world and my family's world was completely turned upside down. It was not. It was an out of body experience. Felt the need to understand and to get involved. We had neighbors that would made the comment, the Keepers are the last family that we thought that this could happen to. If it could happen to them, it could happen to any of us. And with that, it felt like we didn't really know what to do, but we felt like getting involved and understanding was really important. And there was no straight line to that. We just followed our hearts and what was made available to us, and we asked a lot of questions, and we got involved.
So, in Sean's honor, just, people being educated on the signs and what to look for and to know what it is. Just, say, hey, are you okay? What's going on? If that's what we can do, that's our mission, is to educate others on what to look for, and so people don't have to suffer alone. And they can feel more comfortable in reaching out.
And that's why talking about this is so important. Stories like that, where you don't know the signs if you're not looking for them, and you can miss them easy. You have a friend that's like super happy all the time and like seems so positive and has everything together, but in reality they're having a really hard time and they're depressed and they might be suicidal. And it's an awkward question to ask a friend or even somebody who you don't know, but you kind of know, like, hey, are you feeling suicidal? Like, it's so uncomfortable because there's so much stigma around it, I look at it like this: if the media talked about mental health more often and suicide, it would be normalized, but they don't. So people are scared to reach out for help, and that's why we're doing this. Any words, Satcha?
Yeah, it's just a heavy subject in general. You may know. Yeah, I feel 100% like it's vital for people to be around you, care about you, because everybody's going through their own battles, and sometimes people don't feel like they have anybody in this world, and that's what happens.
Yeah, like there's a difference between being lonely and being alone, right? Like being alone means like you're alone, but being lonely, you could be around everybody and be lonely. Like you don't have anybody. So it's always important, to check on people, check on your friends. It's important. Do we want to do another one, or do we want to do the video now?
Let's just do a video now.
It's triggering.
Yeah.
All right. This is a video that I thought was really important to share. So I'm going to share it, and I'm going to mute myself first.
You got that gun in your hand, you got that knife, you got them pills. I need you to throw it all down. I need you to burn the ships of the past so you can focus on your beautiful future. I need you to stop covering pain with drugs, because it's only like putting bricks on a shallow shelf. Eventually it's going to fall back on you. You cannot cover it.
Sorry about our technical difficulties.
And I simply want to tell you, keep going. I just want to tell you today that you are amazing and that you are strong. I want you to know that you're not alone, because I too fight these demons every day. See, many people don't know the pain of losing a parent. It's like literally losing a piece of your body, a piece of your soul, a piece of your heart, a piece of your mind. We miss the scent, we miss the smiles, we miss the jokes, we just miss them. And every day we gotta get up and pretend like we're happy. We gotta get up like everything's okay, but we're dying inside. And what these inner cities has created is, we created babies that's burying their mothers and fathers before they become men and women. And they have no psychiatrist. They have no help. They have nobody that cares. So these poor babies must go on in the valley of life and fight without knowing the lessons, without knowing anything. They gotta keep going. And then they hit this pain they never felt before. It's called mental depression. See, the scary thing about mental depression is you cannot see it. It is invisible. It shows up in people with beautiful smiles, and it shows up in people with nice jobs and a regular life, and you never know the battle that they're fighting inside. Life is long. Life is hard. But it's worth it. See, I went through this. I had a beautiful dream that I finally had saved my mother. When I woke up, my uncle walked in the room and said, "Will, your mother passed of a heroin overdose." I'm clean. The person I worked for my entire life. My heartbeat. It was gone. I want to tell you this, that I too felt that pain. I too felt that suicide. I too felt that mental depression. I once stood in a place with a gun to my head saying, I do not want to live anymore. My mother's gone. My father's nowhere to be found. Why should I live? But I got a whisper from God. And what God spoke was, he said, Will, don't do it. Your life is just getting started. When I heard this whisper, the clouds broke apart and the sun started to rise. As I started to cry, the sun started to drop my tears. It was almost as if God was saying, it's okay, my son. When I realized this very thing, that God did not punish me. He simply let a child that wasn't able to be a child live again. So when you see me, anywhere you see me, I'm doing this for something bigger than myself. I'm doing this for you. And for every child, woman or man that lost somebody, I want you to look in the mirror today. I want you to say their names, and I want you to repeat after me. Live through me. I need you to make sure that the world remembers their name. I need you to make sure you represent them well. And I need to make sure you understand this. Life is long, life is hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Live.
Live.
There's a couple minutes left, but it's literally just like advertisement type stuff. I don't know about all the God stuff, but the point of the video is it has a message, right? And the message is important. The message is bigger. I'm gonna stop sharing and we're gonna do resources. So the resources, I didn't make a new resource list, which I need to fix and make. They're from my suicide awareness concert that I did last year in September with my Active Minds chapter that I founded at my college. I need to get out of this. Okay, so I should have waited. I should have waited. So this is a resource list. It was all compiled by me anyways. So we just want to leave you with some resources. The National Suicide Hotline, the OC Warm Line. Also, there's the LA Warm Line, the Trevor Line, which in the stories, the person who went through conversion therapy, he got help from the Trevor Line. And then the crisis text line, it says text brave, but you can literally text anything. You could text Death Rocker to 741-741 and they'll respond. You could text Goth, you could text SpongeBob, they'll respond. And then these are some apps for like your devices, which are really cool. They're all free to use too. Liftly, Headspace. They've got anxiety management, Calm. They've got a PTSD coach, Calm Harm for, self-harm. Jason Foundation, A Friend Asks. Insomnia coach. I should be using that one. Mindfulness coach, which that's cool and everything, but you'll hear more about our better resources after, because we have a better mindfulness person than the app. And then we've got an AIMS coach. But those are all free. You can get them on Google or Android, I should say, or Apple. And so now I'm going to stop sharing and Satcha is going to share her resources.
Hi. So I own a business called Green Sanctuary. You could find me on Instagram, green.sanctuary. And I'm offering some free 15-minute Reiki sessions to anybody who feels that they need to clear some negative energy. So definitely reach out. I'm there.
And I'll leave in the this is going on social media and stuff, so her links will be there for you to access to be able to contact her. And yeah, she also knows how to make really cool things for self-care, which like self-care, like face masks and all kinds of stuff, oatmeal and oils. I don't know. She knows, she's got everything down for like self-care and mental health, like as far as like alternatives that aren't like a therapist, She's a therapist, but a Reiki therapist. And that's like, I don't know. Maybe you could like give an idea of what Reiki is, just a quick one so people know.
Okay, so Reiki is an energetic healing therapy. I basically clear everyone's chakras, which are portals throughout your body that collect energy, and auras, which is another energy module type of thing. I could go more into it with you personally if you have any questions, but I'm also working with sound lately. That's my new thing. I don't know if I told you, sis, but
No. I know you haven't. My sister has everything spiritual for your mental health needs. Yes.
yes.
So we're gonna end that here, and we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia. Oh wait, I need to stop recording.